This episode is brought to you by Jack Threads. What's up, guys? We are at the office of Double Fine in San Francisco, and we're going to talk to Ron Gilbert. You know, Ron Gilbert, Maniac Mansion, Zach McCracken, Monkey Island, Ron fucking Gilbert, about his new game, The Cave, which is a very cool platformy, adventure-y. I'll let Ron tell you. It's great, though. Tell me a little bit about The Cave.
Well, The Cave is this odd little adventure game where you have these 7 different characters and you get to choose any 3 of them, and you go into this sentient talking cave.
Why are we going into the sentient talking cave? What is down there?
Well, each of the characters has their own story, and there's a kind of a reason that each of the characters is at the cave and why they want to go into the cave. And it's really, to kind of learn something about themselves, or to confront their fears, or to, find what they desire most. I mean, each person has a different reason for being there.
On this fine night, he searches for his true love, but does desire burn too brightly in his heart?
I love his walk. It sounds kind of like it gives me a very Outer Limits-y, Twilight Zone-y vibe.
Well, there's a talking cave.
Yeah. so it's not going to really give me a hard-boiled detective story vibe,
No, if you're looking for a hardcore spelunking game, this probably isn't it.
So was there some sort of amateur spelunking mixer that all these people met each other at, or?
That's kind of part of the mystery.
So when the 3 characters go down, is this like a co-op thing? Are we switching between characters? Or are we kind of going off on our own as each of the 3 characters we choose?
Yeah, you choose the characters and you do need to work together. So the characters do need to solve certain puzzles together. Flip that lever, the gate closes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the time traveler. I'm going to take her down here. So there's this other lever. So we'll go ahead and flip that, and then I will flip back to the hillbilly. He pulls his lever, now the gate's open. So now we'll switch to the knight, and we'll take him and walk him through that. The game also has a co-op. So if you have a friend over, the 2 of you can play together, or if you have 2 friends over. I don't know anyone that has 2 friends,
sure.
But if you happen to have, theoretically, if you had 2 friends, all 3 of you could sit down and play through the game together. And now we'll kind of head on into the cave.
So this is interesting because it has almost like a one-to-one platformy sort of control.
Yeah, I mean, you are definitely controlling the characters in the thing. It's not a point-and-click type interface.
Co-op adventure game. That's kind of interesting. That's a nice twist.
Yeah, it's something I've always wanted to do.
I wanted to thank Jack Threads for sponsoring the show today. Only suckers pay full price. If you love alternative apparel brands like Kid Robot, Hurley, and Stussy, but you hate wasting all your cash on them, listen to me. Look into my eyes. You can score these premium brands at up to 80% off every day. There's an invite-only shopping club called Jack Threads, and they're serving up street, skate, and surfwear brands at prices that will melt your brain. There's a waitlist to join, but if you head to jackthreads.com/challenger, you will get instant access to all of the killer hookups. Go now, jackthreads.com/challenger, and you'll start instantly saving without having to leave the house. So you came to Double Fine 2 years ago, right? 2010.
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
Did you come to work on the cave? Specifically, did you come and you were like, okay, I've got this project, this is what I want to do here? Or did you kind of come and the cave just sort of came out of being here?
No, the cave is an idea that I've had in my head for probably going on 25 years. It actually predates Maniac Mansion. And it's an idea that I've just, has been rolling around in my head, and it kind of percolates up every now and then. And a couple of years ago, I was just hanging out with Tim, and we were talking, and I told him about the cave, this idea, and he thought it was really cool, and he said, well, why don't you come to Double Fine and let us make it? And I said, okay, sure. Sounds good.
Like, oh, so you guys will do all the mathy bits for me? And you're like, yeah, good.
I hate math.
Some would say you might be in the wrong industry or a wrongish industry.
Well, they say programmers need to know math, and I have never really found that to be true, I have to say.
When you got started, adventure games were a pretty dominant force in gaming, and now they're kind of a smaller piece of a much, much larger pie. And do you find, when you're designing things like the cave now, do you need to kind of change things up to attract a larger audience, or do you even feel like you need to attract a huge audience as opposed to just going after people who want adventure games?
I think the primary goal is to go after people who want to play adventure games. I think if you make changes to genres in the sole hope of just attracting more people, I think you can end up wrecking things. So, my goal with the Cave was to build a good, solid adventure game that people who love adventure games are going to enjoy playing. But there were some things I wanted to look at. Like I always felt that inventory had gotten out of control in adventure games, where you were carrying around hundreds and hundreds of items, and as a designer, we could mask puzzles by just requiring you to use 100 things with something until something worked. So we'll pick up the key, and this is what I was talking about earlier, where every character can carry one thing.
Okay.
So he's got the key, and you actually see what he's carrying. So I wanted to streamline that out. So there is no inventory in the Cave, or there kind of is an inventory. You have like a 3-slot inventory because each character can carry one thing. So there were some things like that I wanted to kind of look at streamlining a little bit.
The other thing I would imagine is there are a lot of things in early adventure games that you could kind of get away with because, well, we didn't know a lot about game design, we didn't know a lot about player psychology. We're kind of and things have sort of evolved in video game design as we've gone. Are there things that you've kind of shied away from and gotten away from putting into games other than inventory? Like things like incredibly strange puzzle solutions that are there as kind of like a gag. Does that go over anymore? Yeah,
I mean, I've always tried to avoid that. I've always tried to avoid puzzles that make no sense. That is, they are just two random things that you apply together. I mean, I've always wanted that after you solve a puzzle, you can at least go, oh, I should have figured that out. Oh, I should have seen that, right? There should always be that, oh, I should have figured that out moment. So, I mean, I've done that all the way back to, Monkey Island. So, I'm still kind of continuing, that tradition. But because there is no inventory, you can't do a lot of those weird, wacky, nonsensical things because you just don't have the inventory to carry that stuff around with you. So it does mean that, the kind of puzzle to object ratio gets trimmed down a little bit more.
Well, this looks great. Do we have a release window for the Cave?
It'll be coming out in early 2013.
Okay, and do we know what platforms it'll be on?
It's going to be on the Xbox, it'll be on the PlayStation, it'll be on the Wii U, and it will be on the PC.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Ron.
Yeah, thank you.
For more updates on the Cave and everything Double Fine is doing, you can check out doublefine.com. And for more developer interviews and game walkthroughs, be sure to subscribe here to Rev3 Games.